Hey everybody, this is Kaimar, and I got an interesting story today. So recently, we'll just read through the headline here. Viz Media quietly added an AI translated manga to their app and hoped no one would notice. We did. Manga deserves better than cheap, soulless automation. This is a betrayal of translators, fans, and the art form. We don't want your AI translations. So this is kind of a big development in the ongoing war between localizers and actual anime fans. So I'm not going to go through all of it, but I mean, really, there's always been tension between localizers and anime fans since the very beginning, but recently it's been getting really heated because localization, the entire industry has just been infiltrated with people who hate anime, they hate Japan, they hate the medium, and they are effectively and even act as pretty much political activists who will willingly change the work for whatever for their own means, okay? And like I said though, but AI sort of provides an alternative solution. This is something that localizers fucking hate. And look, they always try and dress it up like, oh, it's gonna be like right here, cheap, soulless automation. Oh, this is such a tragedy, a betrayal of fans and the art form. That's really rich considering localizers betray the fans and the art form significantly more than AI. Alright, 100%. Because the whole reason why this exists, why people like myself consider AI to be better than localizers, is because localizers for years have been doing a shitty job. And I guess we'll go through some of the history. Like, I have this here. This is fan translators AI, people who don't speak English, localizers. Alright, in the hierarchy, I literally would say our modern localizers are the worst when it comes to actually translating these projects. And I would say fan translators are the best because, you know, they do it purely out of passion, right? They love the work, they love the culture, they love it all. So they'll give us the best translation. AI is good. And AI's gotten really advanced. I'll show you an example in a minute. But AI translation's actually really good. People, when they think of AI translation, they think of like the crappy machine translations of old. Like, actually, let me bring something up. Yeah, so right here. So when people hear AI translation, they imagine, at least, you know, this is what I imagine. This is, you know, me thinking of it best and, you know, me giving them best faith possible, right? So they imagine the crappy machine translations of old, like right here. Mr. Flint says before regardless of me, like actual word salad. This is the kind of stuff you'd get back in the old days. But AI is significantly more advanced than this. It's almost seamless. Like, I'll have an example here. I translated the first scene in Final Fantasy IV with ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is not even designed for translation. It just can do it pretty well. I think DeepL is a lot better. And you can pause and read through this yourself. This is pretty seamless. Alright, maybe it's a little stiff. But, I mean, in the context, it would actually make sense for it to be kind of stiff, because this is like an elite military group. They're kind of supposed to be a little more formal, and it's a medieval setting, right? But yeah, ChatGPT can translate pretty darn well. And look, I'm sure it'll miss some things, like maybe certain context or make mistakes. But humans make mistakes too. And the most important thing is that it won't intentionally butcher the text. It won't intentionally butcher the work. Which, guess what? This is something that these human localizers do all the time. So, I have like a lot of examples here. Like, my god, I have a lot. So, this was a recent controversy. Let's start with this. So, here's the literal translation. Okay, so we'll start with this. This panel isn't so bad. Although this is still really awkward. You can read it if you want. But this is where it's really bad. Sit back and let the goat handle this. So they threw in some, and they threw in some stupid internet slang, right? And then literal translation is leave this to the strongest witch here. You could translate it as leave this to me, the strongest witch around, something like that. But then leave this to the goat is what they made it. So they're putting, like, stupid fucking internet slang into this manga. Like, are you kidding me, man? And look, I shouldn't need to explain why you shouldn't put memes into your work, into a translation especially. It dates it. You know, it's really cringy. it's almost always a bad translation. Like in this case, she didn't even use a slang term. So what's even the point? But this is the kind of stuff we're getting these days. And I got like a ton of examples. Man, I got like a bunch of crap here. So Fire Emblem has, apparently a lot of the Fire Emblem games have really bad ones. Here's a good example. I'm still a child, so I may not be ready for these sorts of things. We made a good team coming up with this product together. I'm really grateful. Even if it's too soon for us to be lovers, we can still be partners, don't you think? I got you a memento of our great teamwork, so why shouldn't you? With you, I might just be the world's best traveling merchant. If we meet my family someday, let me introduce you as my significant other, okay? Nope, this partnership is our ticket to fame, fortune, and finding my family. So as you can see here, they totally cucked us, removed the lolly Yuri. So this is another example, like, they completely, and look, you can argue whatever, right? But they completely change what's actually being said. Other stuff here, I should bring up some other more specific examples before we get into actually who makes these. Oh, this was so cringy. You've been acting kinda sus this whole time. Yeah, we got the funny Amogus meme phrase, and Nagatoro, that'll date it forever. Shit. Imagine rewatching one of these shows in like 10, 20 years. My god. This is one of the most infamous ones.
What are you wearing that for? Oh, those pesky patriarchal societal demands were getting on my nerves. So I changed clothes. Gave it a...
Okay, yeah, that was kind of quiet, but... Yeah, so... In the original, she didn't say that at all. Like, I thought I had the original played up, but I guess not. Well, yeah, this... But I do have an AI dub which someone made, which was kind of funny. But yeah, so literally, in the original, she just said, like, oh... She said something else, but she did not say anything about the patriarchy in the original. And there's a billion examples of this. I swear, there's basically an infinite number of examples of these modern localizations getting completely butchered, either by stupid jokes. A lot of the times there's political stuff like that thrown in. And it really is just, you know, completely unacceptable. And I'll go into it more, and let's look into some of the people who actually make this kind of stuff. So this is what Localizers have been doing to anime and gaming for years. Some examples. Here's what Translators is. I think it's fine to censor content if it offends somebody. So we have this huge thing here. I'll read a couple examples. The true joy of localization really is seeing what you can get away with. Let's see, what else do we got? I know I'm opening a huge can of worms here, but here goes. As translators, what is the right way to handle offensive content? Who determines what gets left in and what gets censored? A long thread about translation theory. I guess that's not bad in and of itself. Well, I don't think anything should get censored, really. Sensible localizers. We need our localized game to read as though it was originally written in English, because it is competing with games which were. Some subset of gamers that refuses to die. No, we don't want this. Please give us shit. This is the whole thing. They literally... But... Let's see. I look forward to the day we can just leave everything in Japanese and still cash a paycheck. Honestly, it'd be probably better. Alright, because if these professional localizers didn't exist and then fan translators would do everything, and look, we'd be getting less content, but at least the content we would still be getting wouldn't be completely fucked. Alright? I don't know. I just translated that as incels, and I couldn't be prouder. Well, you know, Japan is super racist, sexist, homophobic, fatphobic, pretty much everything else. Yeah, so you can go through all these yourself. Many or most Western localizers are people like Dark Soul and Katrina Translator, who don't respect the work they are translating. They are essentially art thieves. Japanese companies should never employ translators like this. Western distribution companies also do this. So I translated the Fate Heavens Feel movies, and in one line, Ilya goes for shock, asking her hulking servant to... This was meant for actual screenings, and I knew from previous experience that the audience would react to funny words, so I deflected with a generic Sully. Also, there were a lot of scenes dealing with nasty acts inducing Self-harm and self-deprecation, depreciation. So every word for these scenes were carefully curated by several people and validated by the client to ensure everyone agreed this was the best course of action. So they're straight up just admitting to censoring these works. Confessions of a manga translator. If you've ever been particularly moved by a line of dialogue in a manga, I translated if something pithy spoke to you in some way or had some meaning to you if you thought it was something cool. That was probably me, not the original cartoonist. This is honestly just so arrogant, my god. Oh, and I already talked about this guy. This guy's pretty notorious, it seems. Translation Discourse. If you leave words in Japanese, you should have a very fucking good reason. Ni-chan and Nini and sorry. Senpai. I don't know why he's saying sorry about senpai. It's an actual word. Have no business being left in English again unless you have a very fucking good reason. The default should always be 100% English. Here's the secret. Those of us who work in manga anime love it more than fans. We love it so much we work our asses off to become part of that world. It is everything to us. Previously, well, you know, Japan is super racist, sexist, homophobic, fatphobic, and pretty much everything else. They rank 110 out of 144 countries in terms of gender equality. Japan gonna Japan. And this is actually a pretty common trait you see among a lot of these localizers. I don't even know how this happens. Like, you dedicate years of your life to learning a foreign language, a foreign culture, and then you turn around and just say that they're completely disgusting and backwards because they don't conform to your own cultural standards. It honestly is just so ignorant. You know, like, you know, you can call me racist all day long. I'll even accept that title, okay? But I'm not gonna, like, go to fucking Saudi Arabia and shit on how they do things, you know? Or even India. I might shit on India, but that's only because I have to. That's only because Indians impose themselves on me. All right? If Indians stayed in their lane, I would not I wouldn't care about a single thing they do, you know? But I have to deal with them freaking spamming all their shit on the internet, and now they're fucking immigrating all over the goddamn world, filling up every country. So now I have to care. But like I said, I don't believe in imposing your will on other cultures like that. You know, I don't believe in this kind of cultural imperialism that these localizers do all the damn time. By altering these Japanese works to make them more palatable to a Western audience, to Western morality, whatever. I don't believe in that at all. Anyways, they already went over this. There's some other stuff. Oh yeah, this is another example. Some drama happened with the lovely complex dub a famous content creator Jello Apocalypse worked on and has some nasty things to say about the series. I won't read through all of this, but basically, he gets brought on to do this dub for this old shoujo rom-com, right? And he basically just shits on it the whole time. He says that it's total dog shit, and the only reason the dub is any good is because he rewrote it. Like, my god. That's the whole thing. It's just pure fuck. You get so much arrogance from these types. I guess they're all just like total failures, right? So then they latch on to this kind of stuff. You know, they failed in their own creative pursuits. Like, Jello Apocalypse is like a failed theater kid, a failed drama kid. So then he's all like, he thinks he's the shit. So then he latches on parasitically to somebody else's work and then tries to, you know, improve it. Man, this is just turning into a total rant, but... And then there's the issue with dubbing. You know, there's the whole meme about how, like, why do some dubs use the same 12 voice actors? This is totally real. So many of these voice actors just get used way too much, and it gets super freaking bland. And there's other stuff too, like this ProZD guy becoming a voice actor. He's a big reason why dubbing specifically is bad. And it's because so many of these actors and the dubbing industry in general doesn't take the medium seriously. And he puts it good here. No, I can't. Great voice actor, horrible opinions. No, I can't give him that. Every voice he does still sounds exactly like him doing anime be-like vines, which is more annoying than having dumb Twitter takes because I can't turn off individual characters' voices in games. That's 100% true. And look, why don't we compare? So this is his voice acting reel.
On that out. That's why they keep me locked away down here, skewered and broken.
This is uncomfortable, But according to my information, your debt has soared to heights once considered quite impossible.
These have to be prepared for cooking. You have to chop off the pincers, head, legs, and tail. Especially the tail. Gives you the run something fierce.
Competing against a truly strong rival.
Yeah, so there's some of his voices. Now let's compare that to his anime is Be Like Vines.
Want to light up your life.
Lamp senpai.
Whoa.
Oh, baka, pervert.
Wait, no, Tomoko-chan, I didn't mean to. Oh, I love you.
You can't resist me, can you?
Refrigerator senpai.
It's your decision.
I wish we could stay like this forever, Bed-chan.
We've known each other since childhood. Will she ever see me as more than a friend? Hello, Tomoko-chan.
The twins. Kitty senpai.
Yeah, literally. How about another one?
I love you.
But Tomoko, I also love you.
But now two of us love you.
Yeah, so he literally still sounds the same. He does the same kind of voice as when he was making fun of anime. And look, you can make fun of anime. Fine, right? But I mean, it just shows he's not... Oh, shit. It just shows that he's not taking this, his work seriously. Since he's still, doing the same kind of voices as when he was, making these meme videos, right? And the whole industry is like this guy, by the way. Like, just listen to these kinds of dubs. The golden age of anime dubbing was like the 2000s, subs are better than dubs, of course, but I will defend stuff like Full Metal Alchemist, the dubs of Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note, Black Lagoon. Those are all pretty top quality, alright? But nowadays, it's just full of these kinds of jokers who don't really take it seriously. A lot of it's really soulless, ironically. But yeah, it's just a big disaster. So to summarize, the anime industry... It's filled to the brim with these frickin' jokers, and look, actually, one last thing. So this guy asks here, why are retarded internet women the only people hired to translate Japanese shit these days? And I laid it out pretty simply. Hire one retarded internet woman, she does okay. Need more people for the next project? She says, don't worry, I know someone. It's another retarded internet woman. Soon the entire industry is filled with retarded internet women who are now doing whatever they want. And this is how it happens. And you see this all the time. You especially see this with leftists. Like, I think it was Helldivers 2. There was this whole scandal where the Helldivers 2 Discord server was banning anybody. The official Helldivers 2 Discord server was banning anybody who was against, like, the furry hentai that was being posted in it. Like, literally banning people if they were anti-furry. In the official Helldivers 2 Discord server... There was another story with Gato, how Gato went super lefty too. And this is what happens. You hire one of these kinds of degenerates. And then, because, you hire them because they're like, okay, you think of them as like a person, right? Like an individual. But these kinds of people are very collectivist. They're very nepotistic. So then they hire people who are just like them in whatever way that is. In this... So, like in the Helldivers 2 thing... They hired a bunch of degenerate furries because they were degenerate furry, and then it got taken over by degenerate furries. With the Gato thing, you hire a bunch of leftists. And it's like this in any industry. They take it all over, and now they run the whole show. And it happened here in Localization, too. But anyways, though, yeah, so basically, Localization's in a really bad spot right now. I'm pretty, I don't think AI is the end-all be-all. I just think it's better than what we have now. Which is not really hard to do, honestly. Like I said, I would prefer, like I said back in this post, people who don't speak English. I would honestly prefer, like, some of, like, the god-awful translations of, like, barely legible ones. Like, Suikoden 2 is a good example. Here's some it has some pretty bad ones. Since you're prisoner, this is funny. Buy and sell are lowercase in the menus, but everything else is uppercase or capitalized. Was there really an state spy? It's with an apostrophe after the S and just garbage text. You could keep going. But the whole thing, people still love Suikoden 2, even though it has a rough translation, because it's still good. And even in this kind of case, at least the incompetence is unintentional. I'll forgive incompetence, I won't forgive malice. You get what I'm saying? But anyways, though, I do want to wrap this up by talking about how this has kind of always been an issue in localization. Although I would say it's honestly a lot worse now, because at least in the past it was mostly for more, honestly, kind of understandable reasons, even though I disagree, of course. Let's go through all these. So, like I said, for a long time, anime localization was really bad. You know, 4Kids is one of the most infamous examples. You know, 4Kids took the edge out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Naruto is apparently pretty bad. Pokemon is infamous too. Speed Racer, although this show is really old. You know, this is actually funny. Actually, I won't tell that. 90s, we'll go over some of these later. Cardcaptor Sakura. One Piece, 4Kids is One Piece was really infamous. Tokyo Mew Mew was also a 4Kids one. It's funny, half of this is just 4Kids. 4Kids really was a scourge on the anime industry, or on the localization industry. And the reason why was because 4Kids, their whole MO was to take anime, which were generally kind of edgy, and basically sanitize them and censor them for like a baby Western audience. And honestly, I can kind of understand, you know, from like a business perspective. Well, I do disagree. I do understand from a business perspective wanting to, you know, try and fix some things. Like, you know, here's the... Although some of it was really silly, like here's the jelly donut thing from Pokemon.
You look kind of down, Ash.
Huh? These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
Yeah, obviously a jelly-filled. Yeah, there's some other ones too. The Sailor Moon Cousins thing is pretty infamous.
These puzzling characters, Neptune and Uranus.
Oh, look! Here come Amara and Michelle.
Oh, great. Why do you think they've entered the contest?
They're girls and cousins, too. Amara, Michelle!
Yeah, the Sailor Moon cousin thing, where these characters were lesbians in the original, but when they brought it to the West, they made them cousins. And then there's kind of more general bad translations, like it's over 9,000. This classic meme.
The scouters say about his power level. It's over 9,000! What?
What else did I have? But anyways, though, the point is that in the West, these kinds of translations were bad for two reasons. Either incompetence, where, you know, you just didn't have the right people working on it, or because of censorship. They were explicitly trying to censor these to appeal to a younger audience or a Western audience or whatever, take out the edge. And look, I can forgive incompetence. It's obviously not acceptable, but, you know, I can forgive it under certain circumstances. It's not as bad as, you know, the malintent we get in modern translations. And I can understand censoring it. Like, the whole thing is, look, Sailor Moon was like a kid's show, right? In the 90s, no parents was gonna let their kid... It would have been a massive scandal if they had a lesbian couple in a kid's show. And I mean, in the 90s, okay, there would have been, like, riots over that. You know? I think in, like, 2015, when Disney had their first gay kiss in a cartoon, they had to take the episode off air. So, look, while I won't defend the censorship, I will say it sort of made sense from a practical perspective, even though I disagree. I mean, if you're going to take these kinds of kids' shows, which have unacceptable content in the West, and you still want to have them play for kids, you kind of have to take it out. But like I said, I disagree, but I do understand it. All right? And this is important to think about, because we don't really need the kind of censorship in these modern localizations. You know, like the guy who was... We don't need the kind of censorship. We don't need these kind of changes in modern works, okay? The people who are watching this stuff, I mean, we're all adults, at least teenagers. I mean, we can handle it. You know what I mean? So it's really not the same situation at all, you know? So even though translations back in the day were really bad, you honestly can make an argument that it's a lot worse now. But anyways, though, I've been rambling for quite a while. Got anything else I want to talk about here? Man, not really. Yeah, though, that's about it for me. Something good to end it on. I guess I'll just end it here. But anyways, comment down below what you guys think. You excited for AI? Do you hate localizers? Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more content in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.